Hello, this is JM183, and this is another episode of Pierre's Path to Glory, and this is a very important episode as we have the chance to win the World Championship in Malaysia here, which sort of shows just how this season has gone. But now into the practice programs, I've got quite a bad score because, as some of you might know, but probably not, I actually got onto the F1 2017 beta, so I hadn't played this game for a while and was used to the next one, which I can't give anything away about, but it made me be worse at this game for the time being until I got back into it in the race and everything. But practice, I would just try and get a rhythm going and that sort of thing. But yeah, we could win the championship today if we better Max Verstappen's result, or Max Verstappen doesn't win, then we've won the World Championship. So yeah, it's looking good. So there's a 125 point gap at the minute, and if that gap is less than 125 points, then Verstappen still can win the championship. But on to qualifying. This is my first run of the session, and I'm getting a little nice slipstream off the south, I think, of Will Stevens there, down the back straight. But this probably isn't a great lap. As I said, the beta kind of made me be bad at this game for a little bit. And the first lap, it is a 134.6, I believe, which isn't that amazing. But now onto the second lap, we are 8 tenths up, or 7 or 8 tenths up. And yeah, it's looking much better. So hopefully, I think Max Verstappen's on provisional pole right now. So coming down towards the line with only 2 minutes left, this is going to be my best lap in the session. And it looked like it was purple, but I think it's actually second place. So a bit of a weird game glitch there. You saw it go purple in top right, but then I'm actually second. So I'm not quite sure how that's happened, but Max Verstappen ended up pole by 4 tenths of a second for myself, Pierre in second. So very well onto Verstappen getting that far ahead in qualifying, with Ricciardo, Vettel, Sainz rounding out the top 5, with Nico Carey both Toro Rosso's ahead of Hamilton there, pretty disappointing for him. With Raikkonen 8th, Palmer and Button, the two Brits rounding out the top 10, with Magnussen in 11th. And then at the bottom 11 were Hulkenberg not doing too well in his Williams, ahead of Sergio Perez, Fernando Alonso, Hulkenberg's teammate Bottas, and Esteban Ocon. But look how close Alonso, Bottas, Ocon and Leclerc were for 14th, 17th, with Grosjean, Russell, Verline rounding out the top 20, with the two Saubers well off the pace once again, as we've seen quite commonly this season. Let's get into the race.
Compromising heat to unrelenting storms. You never know quite what you're going to get here in Kuala Lumpur. The inaugural race in 1999 was the last of 4 Grand Prix victories for Northern Ireland's Eddie Irvine. I wonder who'll be adding their name to that history today.
So it's looking like a fully dry race, and it's quite a difficult strategy, this, because it's quite close between the 2 and 3 stop, and my tyre wear isn't brilliant, and it's going to be quite a toss-up between these two. I could go soft, hard, hard, but then the soft, as you can see, the two strategies there on the screen. I think I'm going to try and go for the 2 stop, but it could change. But now on to 5 red lights for the Malaysian Grand Prix. Red Bull front row. His lights out where we go, and straight up to Rich Mix ahead of, and the guy in third, I think Ricciardo's got an excellent start. He's already trying to put it through the middle of us, and Verstappen's bogged down. I've not got a great start either. Ricciardo has barged me to the left of the track. I'm going to brake early, get out there. Sainz has gone diving up the inside as well. Carlos Sainz up into second place from 4th on the grid, and well onto him. I've now retaken Ricciardo for 3rd, but Sainz is straight up there into 2nd, and that is an amazing job from Carlos Sainz. But Ricciardo now, he's got a good run on me out of turn 2, so he could be having a look up in towards turn 4 now. But I don't think it's going to happen, as we just about have the edge over him for now. But Carlos Sainz up in 2nd place. He's not actually won a race yet this season, but he's got very close on a few occasions. Now onto the end of lap 1, and we now have the advantage over Carlos Sainz, as we've got the pace compared to him in this Red Bull, as it is a much faster car. But Verstappen is not pulling away from Sainz, rather surprisingly. But I'm right behind Carlos Sainz now, and the slipstream on this game, as you know, is very powerful. So we're going to try and go for a move on Carlos Sainz, but he has completely just pushed me to the left of the track. He almost weaved on me there, and Hamilton's going for a move on Ricciardo as well. But Verstappen's gone wide. Sainz is going for the inside line. I'm already in the lead at this point, but I've run wide. Sainz and now and myself are battling for the lead now. Verstappen's down to 3rd, maybe even 4th, as Hamilton looks like he's trying to get through. But Sainz has taken the lead ahead of myself. He had the better line through turn 2 and 3. So Sainz is now in the lead. I'm in 2nd place, and now we've got to try and overtake Carlos Sainz again, which is I don't know how he's doing this. But Carlos Sainz up into the lead now. I'm going to try and go up the inside into the final corner. But this is a very difficult place to overtake, as he'll have the better exit probably on towards the pit straight. And now Verstappen is right behind us as well. It might be it's Lewis Hamilton, sorry, as he's at his fastest lap right behind, and he's going to try and go for a move now. Sainz has gone to the outside. I'm on the inside. It's going to be 3 wide for the 3 of us into turn 1, and Sainz looks like he's going to lose out here. But me and Hamilton are still side by side. Sainz is down to 3rd, and I don't know who's got the lead right now. I think it's myself, but Lewis Hamilton is very, very close behind. Yes, we do retain the lead, but Lewis Hamilton is right behind me now. And through on lap 4 now, Hamilton looks like he's got a good exit through the middle sector, and he's going to go. It looks like he's buzzing around my back end, and he's going to try and go for a move now. I've gone wide. I maybe locked a brake or something, but Hamilton spun me. Hamilton just hit me off the track into the wall, so we've got front wing damage now. and that has cost me a load of time and position. So we're now behind Kimi Raikkonen and Jolyon Palmer, that is. And because of that wing damage, I'm going to have to come in on the end of lap 4 earlier than I wanted to, and this probably means that we can't do the 2-stop anymore. And yeah, very, very disappointing. I'm not sure what Lewis Hamilton was doing, but he pretty much just spun me into the wall there, so pretty annoying to say the least. But now onto lap 5, and we're going to come out the pits stone dead last, it looks like, as everyone in the order is going past. We will have a very long stop with the front wing change, but I'm going to go onto hard tyres, get them out of the way, and my intention now is probably to do the 3-stop of medium and soft, because the front wing damage has made us pit a little bit early, so the double hard might not work so well. But we are miles behind the pack, as you can see. There's no one on the minimap to be seen. They're all through turn 3 already, and yeah, very disappointing that Lewis Hamilton's caused me to be stone dead last. And yeah, Hamilton's still in lead, so he came out quite well from that. But now let's look at a replay at the start, and it was quite a short hold, and Daniel Ricciardo from third place, and Carlos Sainz got absolutely unbelievable starts. Vettel bogged down slightly, but Ricciardo looked like he was trying to force through the middle. He was buzzing all over the back end of Max Verstappen before Carlos Sainz absolutely dive bombed him and went straight up into second place, which forced Ricciardo wide and let me get back into third. But yeah, that was a very aggressive move from Sainz, to say the least, and I think we could get on board with him now, as Ricciardo down to 4th ahead of his teammate. But we know that Hamilton actually overtook all 4 of us and took the lead on lap 4. But now here's the view from Sainz. He got a good start compared to Vettel straight away, and then you can just see how much Ricciardo moves around. Very dangerous driving, but then Sainz dive bombs him, makes a lot of wheel-to-wheel contact with Daniel Ricciardo, and Carlos Sainz takes second place. So we obviously know what happened. He ended up back down to 3rd by the end of lap 2, but very good start for Sainz, to say the least. And now onto lap 6, a few drivers coming out of the pit lane, including here is Nico Carey, another Toro Rosso, who is near the bottom end of the points. But you can see my undercut strategy, well not strategy, but the undercut I've been forced into has kind of worked a little bit. As you can see on the minimap, Max Verstappen's up the road a bit. So I've lost a lot of time thanks to that wing damage and the front wing change. But we're still just behind Nico Carey, and we're going purple, so we've still got the pace to win this race. But Nico Carey has gone a bad exit now, and we're going to go side by side through the fast left to right hander, and we're trying to go right around the outside Nico Carey. That is a lovely move that it comes off. We're still side by side, but I just about have the high ground coming out the corner, and he saw Verstappen, and I think it was Raikkonen battling it up ahead, or right with Vettel. But now on the next lap, here's a Renault car at the pits of Kevin Magnussen, and there is Carlos Sainz just up the road. So you can see I'm kind of in the same, like in the ballpark of these top 5 cars again, but we overtake Kevin Magnussen around the outside. Now the end of the lap, we're going to try and challenge Jolyon Palmer here, and ahead of him is the Toro Rosso of Carlos Sainz, but he's a little bit too fast to try and go into this corner. But Jolyon Palmer definitely isn't. If we go up the inside, take the inside line for the final corner of the Malaysian track, and up into, I don't know what position it is, but I think it's about P16 or 15. But there's a few cars in the pits. Everyone's very out of sync, as the drivers outside the top 10 wouldn't have started on softs. But now we're going to try and lunge it up the inside of Sainz. 2 overtakes and 2 corners. That is a very aggressive move, and we forced him wide. He can't get a good turn in there. And we're up just behind the Ferrari of Kimi Raikkonen, who is just behind, I think, a Mercedes car of Daniel Ricciardo. Here it is, Vettel's going for a move on Ricciardo actually, into turn 1 with the very next lap, and Vettel and Ricciardo side by side, and Vettel's just forced him out, but they're still going to go side by side, it looks like. Ricciardo's holding it in there, and Vettel, the hands go up in frustration, but Vettel has just about got that position, and I'm just behind this train now, and here we are, and Kimi Raikkonen's back end, and we set a purple lap while we're at it with the DRS open, and Ricciardo goes for a move on Vettel into the turn 1 again, and I think he's got that position almost, but he's going to try and look to take advantage of Kimi Raikkonen, going right around the outside of turn 1, which gives us the inside line for turn 2. Very nice move there, and force Raikkonen out, take the I think it's a net 4th or 5th place right now, but now Sebastian Vettel is the next car in line, it looks like, but he's got DRS on Ricciardo, and Verstappen's not too far up the road now, and we're going to try and take advantage here as Vettel going slowly into turn 1, stuck behind Ricciardo, and we go right around the outside. This is I've practiced it on Kimi, and I've executed it on Sebastian, up ahead of him now, just behind Daniel Ricciardo in his Mercedes, and there's Verstappen only 2 cars ahead. You can see the likes of the Force Indias and the Williams here, the midfield cars, and the Haas there up ahead of Leclerc, Leclerc I think it is, but meanwhile we go past Ricciardo, straight through that middle sector. Very nice move there, and now onto the back of Pascal Wehrlein in the Force India. But you can see we've caught up to the likes of midfield cars who haven't pitted yet, which sort of shows our pace as the top teams. We're definitely much faster than the midfield runners. It's not really much of a chance of them getting a good result at all, but we're going diving up the inside of Pascal Wehrlein, and just behind my teammate now, Max Verstappen, and despite the wing change, we're like all over him now, and Verstappen is actually going to come into the pits along with Charles Leclerc, and that leaves us ahead of him now, and Verstappen, he must be pitting like on the same strategy as me, I think, on a 3-stop, but nevertheless we have to apply the pressure now to Sergio Perez in the lead Force India car, and into turn 1 it's going to be a massive dive bomb, it looks like. Yes it is, much like we did on Carlos Sainz, but Sergio Perez has to yield as this Red Bull is very much quicker. and there's not really much point for him fighting it, as the Force India is probably one of the slowest cars in the grid. It was actually Grosjean rather than Leclerc, my apologies, but Verstappen comes into pits, he was on softs for that second stint, and he's on the mediums now, so that pretty much guarantees that he is on a 3-stop strategy. But now to lap 14, I'm just going to cover off Verstappen, because I said at the start, the championship is the thing that matters in this race, and the only thing I need to do is beat Max Verstappen to win the championship. So in case the 3-stop is faster, I'm just going to cover it off, try and beat Verstappen. I don't really care about winning this race because I've won plenty this season. I'm not really short of victories, to say the least, but now I'm just going to do a cover Max Verstappen strategy and hopefully just play it a bit more aggressively and have a little battle with Verstappen, trying to assert my authority as #1 Red Bull driver. Into medium tyres at the end of lap 15. At the start of lap 15, I should say, and here on the minimap you can see, I'm not sure who that's going past there, but here comes Max Verstappen on the minimap, and he's just ahead of someone who is a manner of George Russell, I think that is. But Verstappen is still just ahead of me, but that's the undercut working there. You can just see that little bit of time he's gained on me. But now onto this very same lap, my outlap, and George Russell is holding up a little bit here. And we're going to try and go straight past him now. Yes, we do. And just behind Max Verstappen. I think we're fighting for like 13th or 14th place at the minute, but now onto lap 15, the same lap still. And we set a purple final sector on these new mediums, but Verstappen's got the DRS on the other manner, and he's going to go up the inside now. Verstappen is, I looked to the outside, but the manner of, I think this is George Russell actually, the previous one must have been Esteban Ocon, my apologies. But Verstappen just about goes past him. I also try and find a way around George Russell. He actually taps me on the back end a little bit, losing me a bit of time, and Verstappen's got a bit of an advantage now, but by the end of lap 16, that advantage is gone. And we're going to try and go around the outside of Max Verstappen, my teammate, with DRS open. And it looks like quite a straightforward move there. Yes, it is, as DRS really is too powerful, it's going to say the least, and it's quite cloudy here in Malaysia. There was no rain forecast, but it could always happen, you never know in Malaysia. But there's a few cars in the pit lane now. I'm not sure where we're going to feed out, but there's a few cars coming out here, and it's going to be very, very close to, I think this is a Mercedes car, yes it is, of I think it's Daniel Ricciardo, and we're right around the outside now of Ricciardo in his Mercedes, and hopefully we can take this position, because that will give me a little buffer between myself and Verstappen. But he's got a better exit out of turn 2, and he's going to hold it with the inside now. Daniel Ricciardo is just about holding it, and Verstappen might even try and take advantage here, but no, he doesn't. And now onto lap 18 into turn 1, we're overtaking a few more cars in the pit lane, but I think this is still the Mercedes of Daniel Ricciardo ahead of me. But we're going to try and do the similar move to what we did on Raikkonen and Vettel, although it's a bit later this time. We actually force him wide, go put the nose in at the inside of turn 2, straight past him, and now I think we're in a net 4th or 5th place, but obviously these drivers are going to the end. Verstappen's in the pits once again, but these drivers are all going to the end. He's pitted onto hard tyres behind me, so yeah, he's going to the end now, so I've got to try and do another, get another pit stop advantage if I want to beat these, which does seem a bit unlikely, because the Red Bull is quick, but it's not that quick, as we want to go and fend off the Mercedes car that is trying to challenge me. But here's Sebastian Vettel on lap 22, he's gone much fresher hard, so it's better than my mediums at the minute. But Vettel's locked up, he's slid all the way through turn 1 there, and the Mercedes of, I think it's Lewis Hamilton, is going to capitalise and take that, I think that's basically the net lead, because I was still pitting. Here it is, my pit stop on lap 24, onto a set of softs, just go massively aggressive. And there's a few cars coming past now. I think that's the likes of the Renaults or the, I'm not quite sure, but it's the likes of the lower top 10. There's another car going past who isn't my teammate, neither is that on the minimap. But my teammate is Max Verstappen, who's just behind there. We've come out a position ahead of him. So the undercut of Verstappen didn't work this time. We were just behind Kevin Magnussen, I think this is, and Fernando Alonso. But Verstappen, I already have the advantage over, and I have the fresher tyre. So it looks like, unless anything major happens, we're going to become the world champion unless Max Verstappen can absolutely fly and overtake me. But even so, as we go up the inside of Magnussen into turn 4, but Verstappen has to win this race, which with only 4 laps to go, and he's about 30 seconds off the lead, so it's very unlikely, as we get the DRS on Fernando Alonso and the slipstream, and go straight past him now towards the final corner. And yeah, that's another position gained. But now onto lap 25, we have the 2 Williams cars of Hülkenberg and Bottas battling ahead of me. It looks like Bottas has got the DRS on his teammate as I go purple, and Bottas goes at the inside of turn 1, and we have to try and capitalise here, as it's going to be very, very close. But Bottas goes at the inside of Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg's going to try and hold him off, but I'm going to take advantage, go right at the inside. It's 3 wide, a bit of slight wheel-to-wheel contact as Bottas spins around. There's a bit of contact there between the Williams, which probably was my fault, but nevertheless, we got both positions for 1 there, to buy 1 get 1 free. And now onto the very last corner of the race almost, as Carlos Sainz and Jolyon Palmer are 4th and 5th, as we have to try and overtake these 2 cars to get the best position possible, although it doesn't really matter at this point. Sebastian Vettel's 1, Carlos Sainz goes for move on Palmer, I go for move on the pair of them. It's going to be a bit of a lunges, 3 wide into the final corner. Vettel has won the race, but we have taken 4th place, and that is going to be enough to become the world champion of Formula 1. And Pierre Gasly comes across the line and claims that championship. So Sebastian Vettel is the race winner, for only a tenth of a second in it from Daniel Ricciardo in the end, so it must be very close for them two. With Lewis Hamilton finishing off the podium, a double podium for Mercedes for like the first time in a very long time it feels like. But I come across the line in 4th place, which is enough for the World Championship. With Sainz 5th, ahead of Palmer, Hulkenberg, Alonso, Verstappen is very disappointed in 9th, with Magnussen and Button running our top 11. But that is enough for me to become the champion, as I said. But here's the bottom 12, the bottom 11, Raikkonen 12th. Carey 13th, bit disappointing for him, and Bottas 14th after that spin. Russell, Leclerc, Grosjean, Perez, Verline, Will Stevens, Antonio Giovinazzi rounding out the finishers, with Esteban Ocon having an unfortunate engine failure earlier in the race. And here is the World Championship then. As you can see, we have taken the championship, a very big lead over Verstappen now, which is an unassailable lead. And Lewis Hamilton actually comes up to 2nd place with Ricciardo. It's quite a good battle for 2nd. And Red Bull we can claim the constructors next race as well, which is very high on the agenda. And I think it's something like, if Mercedes don't outscore us, then we have the constructors next race. So it could be 2-2 for races and titles for Red Bull Racing. But Pierre Gasly is the champion, and that is very nice to see. And if you like this video, leave a like on it, subscribe if you want to see more. This has been JY83, and I will see you next time.